We'd like to once again remind the public to be proactive. Our agencies are taking a team approach on this, and ultimately, the community is also part of the team, particularly in such a challenging economic environment. Generally, consumers should be vigilant against suspicious behavior, any promises of instant or unrealistic financial returns, or any emails or phone calls asking for personal banking information. Remember, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. We'll now take your questions.
But that Nigerian prince always emails me.
But just don't reply.
He's very friendly, isn't he? He emails everybody.
How can one avoid, and if you were caught up in the Bernie Madoff scheme, how can one avoid a situation like that from ever happening again?
It's a difficult question. I mean, it's, again, a matter of doing research.
I mean, Bernie Madoff was more of a Ponzi scheme. It was also an investment.
Yes.
And those things work similarly to pyramid schemes. The money is only made when the money keeps coming in. And imagine what happens when you lose investors or you stop having investors, and then the other investors want to withdraw the money. There's nothing to come and support. I think it's a lot about doing your research, keeping in contact with the company that you're working with, but understanding and having a relationship with them. But really, a lot of it is just do your research.
And asking questions. I think a lot of people are, they are very reticent about asking questions. And it's important to, it's your money. And you've got to know what's being done with it, you've got to know where it's going, and that it's going to do what you want it to do. So it's very important to ask questions.
Once you lost money in a scheme, a pyramid scheme, it's no way of getting
Very
it back.
unlikely.
Very unlikely. 99%.
You have to remember a lot of some of the multi-level marketing schemes. And I'll stress that there are some that are legit, but there are a lot of them that are fraudulent. And they originate outside of Bermuda. So even finding these people and trying to get your money back is very difficult. It's highly unlikely.
That was my question. So the majority of these scams are originated outside of Bermuda. They're not Bermuda-based.
Yeah, that's right.
Can I just ask a question? You said this kind of problem is becoming more prevalent. Can you give us an idea of how many victims there are in Bermuda?
I know you
Yeah, we
that
knew you were
question.
going to
We
ask
were ready for
that
that one.
question. You know, we've talked to the police, and of course, consumer affairs do get calls. But there's the thing about this kind of thing is people get embarrassed, and they don't really want to let you know that they've been hacked or ripped off. So there are no sort of there's no real hard data. What we're really concerned about, though, is the type of people who are being targeted, and we're seeing more of that. I think maybe consumer affairs are seeing that too. You know, seniors, for example, are being targeted because seniors will be more trusting. They'll be less sophisticated generally in terms of how you invest and so on. So it's really about who is being targeted here for this kind of thing. Less sophisticated investors, seniors,
Unemployed people who are trying to make a quick buck.
Exactly, and in this environment, as it gets more, as it gets more challenging in the economy, people really have to be on the lookout. So you have to look out for yourself, but you should really look out for your family members too, the older people in your family and so on.
Is it possible to say that there are maybe twice as many, 3 times as many of these kind of scams going around at the moment?
There's tons of scams going on.
I mean, has it increased by? Do you see sort of 3 times as many, 4 times as many?
That's difficult to say.
Yeah,
It's very difficult to say. I know there are a lot of them. In fact, I was in my research on the internet. There's lists and lists. We're looking at to be proactive about the ones that we're seeing in Bermuda.
Yeah.
I guess I'm sure there are more, but if people don't come forward and say, "Guess what I did last week with my money," and guess where it went?
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
Have you seen more of them now since the recession has hit?
We've had more inquiries in our office, but not that.
Since, okay. Yeah.
And also there's been another wave of the counterfeit
money.
banknotes in circulation just recently.
Just recently in the last month.
Exactly, and we saw, after doing the information sessions, actually our colleagues at the police service told us that they had seen it go down. But then, so
It came back.
there's another wave.
And
So
it's the $50 bill.
it's the $50 bill that really is the most prevalent.
Yeah. And what about, can you tell us specific characteristics that are within, just briefly, within that $50 note that is fake, that people can just see right away that, yeah.
Well, that's a good point. I can ask our Assistant Director of the Currency Operations, Steph Smith, to give you a little bit about that. There are some security features that people should look for.
Yeah, the basic security features.
Can you get that on camera?
You want to come? I can get up.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, we do as well.
You have a video
We
presentation?
have posters.
Well, like a counterfeit, do you have one of the counterfeit ones?
No, we don't carry those.
Yeah, real. You have a video presentation or just poster?
Yeah, just, yeah, posters on.
Always think about electronic. Always think about the electronic.
Yeah.
Okay, go for it, sir.
Basically, what we found with the notes, you can look at the paper. The paper is usually quality that comes out of a copier. There's certain security features that you'll find are the hologram item that on the notes, when you hold it up to the light, you're able to see the tuna fish feature. On the non-authentic notes, you will not be able to see that. There's fluorescent or what's called black light. And when you hold the notes under this light, you'll see certain types of security features able to be seen only under this type of black light. People ask questions about the notes. Can we use the pens like you use on the US dollar notes? That does not work on the Bermuda notes. It's a feature that's only used on the US currency and does not work for our notes. So the key is to look, the feel, tilting it back and forth to see if you see the holograms change color, and holding up to the light to see if you see the tuna fish item come through in the area where it's basically white, and you hold up the light, you see the hologram through the middle. In addition to that, at nighttime, in the club scene or in the night where sometimes the tuna fish may not be visible, then having that alternate black lighting helps to show additional security features when the lights is not as great.
I have a question on a little bit of a different topic. I know previously the BMA has advised banks to sort of tighten up on their lending. I was wondering if the BMA had any thoughts on the recent situation of government joining with Bank Butterfield for 100% financing to the homes of Bermuda.
It's not a transaction that we would actually be involved in. And yes, you're right, that there has been, and there always have been, conservative lending policies among the banks which we encourage. So our role is really to monitor what's happening across the market in that respect. I think that question is probably best for the government and banks.
Can I just ask a question about counterfeit currency as well? Is the belief that, maybe this is more for the police, I'm not sure, but is the belief that the money is being created in Bermuda, or is it being brought into Bermuda?
That is correct. The money is being made in Bermuda. The larger case, people have local printers, and they're creating these documents in-house. It's not a, that's the majority of the cases that's been found.
And the currency that you see that is fake, it's bogus, is it quite basic? Is it quite simple? I mean, in terms of easy to spot?
I would say so. I think it's relatively easy to spot. But one additional item I'd like to bring to the attention is that we do have posters available at the Bermuda Monetary Authority, because it becomes an issue when you have individuals that are new to the island and not familiar with the currency. To more Bermudians, it may be easy to spot because we're more familiar with it. So if you come in, we have posters that you can take home, and you can have an idea of what some of these security features look like revealed, and get more familiar with the colors and what they actually look like, just to become more familiarized with the note.
And we give this material to the businesses as well. So I mean, you may even in coffee shops and so on around town see these posters up.
Exactly.
Those are the retail sectors really where people try to pass the notes. So.
Well, what do you think the scale of the operation is? If it's being done in Bermuda, is it literally being done in someone's back room?
Well,
is that all it takes?
As I said, I mean, it's very speculative to say. I mean, the police would have a much better idea. But the good thing is that it's not as prevalent here as it is elsewhere, and it's become easier for both the police and the BMA to be involved in spotting this and being able to put a stop to it. And of course, the banks are very proactive about it as well. Somebody unfortunately has in their deposit for the night, they're putting, or in the daytime taking to the bank from their business, the bank is going to spot those counterfeit bills immediately. And so it stops right there. So it's not allowed to go further into circulation once it hits the banks. The banks are very proactive on that as well. So we're able to spot them. We're able to spot them.
Who told you this time? I mean, you said that this new wave has come about a month ago.
Well, we talk to the police service and consumer affairs. We're in touch all the time. So.
Okay. All right. And as far as, if you're an unsuspecting person and, could you get in trouble for this? Or, I mean, how, if you're using it and you don't know, what's the recourse? What do you do?
If the police will tell you, the intent is the big issue. So if you are intentionally passing them, yes, it is a criminal offense to do that.
I know with the summer season coming into effect, the cricket season,
Yes.
Crown and Anchor,
Exactly.
the underworld, these notes are passed on, especially in Crown and Anchor tables, these notes are passed around real easy and real fast. Any advice to
That's why we're saying this now at this point, because you're right, summer's coming, the big events are coming, big social events, and so everybody needs to be vigilant. And the agencies are being extra vigilant, and if we're all on the team and being vigilant, we can actually put a stop to this quite quickly. I mean, one of our colleagues at the police service in the sessions was saying to us, if somebody's in the supermarket and they're trying to pass a $50 bill to buy a candy bar, they're in the line, and they see a cashier go like this, they're going to leave the store. They're not going to try it. A simple action like that will help in addressing this.
Good to go.
Thank you.
Okay.